MOS or for secretary, we're available to you all.
Thank you, sir. So we start from 142.
नमस्कार सर, मेरा नाम अनुवेश रथ है, मैं जी बिजनेस से हूँ। सर मेरे दो सवाल हैं। पहला सवाल, ट्राई ने एक कोशिश शुरू की थी जो हर लोकेशन पे वहाँ पे जो कम्युनिकेशन है उस लोकेशन पे कम्युनिकेशन किस तरीके का है, यानी कि बैंडविड्थ कितना आ रहा है, डिजिटल आपका लैंडलाइन किस तरीके का है। और दूसरा सवाल सर, वोडाफोन आइडिया मामले पे हमने लगातार देखा है, एजी ने समय मांगा है सुप्रीम कोर्ट से, समय अभी 27 अक्टूबर का दूसरा आ रहा है, तो किस तरीके से वोडाफोन आइडिया मैटर को आप देखते हैं? दो सवाल।
तो आपका पहला सवाल का उत्तर ऑलरेडी मैंने अपने प्रेजेंटेशन में दे दिया कि किस बारीकी से TRAI और DOT हर एक सर्विस प्रोवाइडर की कस्टमर ओरिएंटेशन को देख रही है टेक्नोलॉजी पर्सपेक्टिव से। हमारे क्या मापदंड हैं, उस मापदंड पर आपकी क्या परफॉर्मेंस रही है, और आपकी परफॉर्मेंस राष्ट्र मानचित्र पर नहीं देखी जाती, आपकी परफॉर्मेंस हर सर्कल द्वारा देखी जाती है। उदाहरण के तौर पर BSNL का सर्विस 3 सर्कल में बहुत अच्छा हो सकता है, 15 सर्कल में मध्यम हो सकता है, 2 सर्कल में बुरा हो सकता है। जियो का 1 सर्कल में अच्छा हो सकता है, 1 सर्कल में मध्यम हो सकता है, 1 सर्कल में ठीक नहीं होता है। तो सर्कल लेवल पर हम लोग इन सब पैरामीटर्स को हम लोग देखते हैं। हाँ, तो सेक्रेटरी साहब कह रहे हैं नॉट ओनली टावर लेवल बट वी आर नाउ ट्राइंग टू मेजर एट सेल लेवल ऑल्सो। तो वी आर गोइंग वेरी ग्रैन्युलर एंड माइंड यू, लेट मी से दिस दैट ये अतिशयोक्ति नहीं होगी अगर मैं कहूं कि भारत की टेलीकॉम सर्विस आज विश्व में सबसे टॉप 1 या 2 या 3 देशों में, और उसे और बेहतर बनाने की हमारी कोशिश। जहां तक आपका प्रश्न वोडाफोन का रहा, ये कोर्ट का मामला है, हमारा मामला है।
76।
हेलो सर, असीम मनचंदा हूँ CNBC आवाज से। 2 छोटे सवाल हैं। एक पहला कि 6 GHz को लेकर के आपने कहा कि डी-लाइसेंसिंग कर रहे हैं। पहले आपने डेडलाइन दी थी कि 15 अगस्त तक डी-लाइसेंस हो जाएगा, तो अब क्या स्टेटस है, कब तक हम उसको डी-लाइसेंस होता देख सकते हैं? और दूसरा क्वालिटी ऑफ सर्विसेज से जुड़ा हुआ सवाल है, सेल लेवल मॉनिटरिंग या फिर स्टेट लेवल मॉनिटरिंग या डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल मॉनिटरिंग ट्राई ने रिकमेंड किया हुआ है, वो रिकमेंडेशंस कब तक हम इम्प्लीमेंट होते देख सकते हैं?
आपका दूसरा प्रश्न का उत्तर दे दिया ना।
नहीं, वो रिकमेंडेशन आई हुई है,
रिकमेंडेशन नहीं इम्प्लीमेंट हो गई है
ऑलरेडी। नहीं सर, अच्छा सेक्रेटरी साहब क्लियर कर दें।
नहीं
सर, सेल लेवल एंड डिस्ट्रिक्ट स्टेट लेवल
देयर ऑलरेडी इन प्लेस, देयर इज लाइट पास और तुरंत आज की तारीख
नहीं, मैं स्पष्ट कर दूं। आज क्या 17, अब हम लोग उस अवधि से आगे निकल गए, लेकिन 1 अक्टूबर के पहले जो पहले से चल रहे आ रहे थे वही चल रहा था। 1 अक्टूबर, और ये हमने 4 महीने पहले अनाउंस कर दिया था कि 1 अक्टूबर से ये पैरामीटर्स हम लोग चेंज कर रहे हैं आपकी मॉनिटरिंग की। 1 अक्टूबर को पहला रिपोर्ट उन्होंने दिया है सारे चारों TSP ने कि ये हमारी स्थिति है। अब वो TRAI मॉनिटर भी कर रहा है, स्टडी भी कर रहा है, और आइडेंटिफाई कर रहा है कि आप ग्रीन कहाँ हो, आप येलो कहाँ हो, और आप रेड कहाँ हो। और फिर उनसे हमने पाथ भी मांगा है कि जहाँ आप येलो और रेड हो, दुरुस्त कब तक कर पाओगे, या क्या कारण है कि आप येलो या रेड हो। मैंने कल ही प्रेजेंटेशन इसका लिया था, ये भी मैं आपको सूचित कर दूँ। उदाहरण का आपको दूँ, कई जगह रेड हैं, क्योंकि जैसे कि अभी हिमाचल और उत्तराखंड में बाढ़ आई तो पूरा टेलीकॉम इक्विपमेंट नाश हो गया, तो उन राज्यों में टेम्पररी रेड आया है, पर जहाँ परमानेंट से रेड है उसका भी हम लोग समाधान निकाल रहे हैं। दूसरा प्रश्न क्या है? 6G का, 6GHz।
The upper one, we will have to arrive at a consensus because there are many users of that.
INB uses it.
So we will, once consensus arrives, I can't give you a timeline for that.
So there are multiple users of that, and those users are as important as telecom. So So therefore, you have to discuss and come to a solution on that. So it's not as easy as a vacant spectrum.
9. 9 number? Yes.
So GSMA had, it's a person from PTI. GSMA has recently come up with a report which said that 47% Indians are still unconnected, and they have said that the number that we see is because of multiple SIM users, multi-device users. But those who are unconnected are because of they cannot afford the device cost, and there needs some.
So let me just correct that. That number is got to do with a smartphone, not unconnected. Unconnected by smartphone. So, in India, we have close to about 1 billion users out of 1.2 billion subscribers. So, penetration is extremely high. But yes, smartphone penetration is not that high, and that's because of the cost of the device. Which is why there are a lot of manufacturers today coming up with, and I don't want to divulge, but there are a lot of manufacturers coming up with cheaper smartphones. And when you get cheaper smartphones, then the penetration of smartphones will also increase. Am I correct?
39. Right.
Hi, very good afternoon, sir. Ashmit from CNBC TV18. A couple of questions, sir. One on post office. You mentioned that there'll be a last mile delivery that you're looking at, especially for e-commerce platforms. Just a little more clarity on that, sir. Is that particularly for sellers? What kind of arrangement, if any, will there be between the post office as well as the likes of Amazon?
So I wanna thank you for your question, and I'm glad that someone asked about post, because let me tell you, it is a department that's connected to our lives, and it will be continually be connected. And in the new avatar that it's also taking, the Department of Post will and has to transform itself into a logistics corporation. The raison d'etre for that is twofold. One, the nature of the department. There is no other department that has the network that the postal department has. Second, the way the world is going. Today, if you look at mail and international mail, that is on the decline. It is parcels and logistics that is going to increase. And if you look at where India stands within that universe, today your logistic delivery business still, mota, I'm talking about big picture, is still getting concentrated. Tier 1, I would say maximum sprinkling of tier 2. But in the future, that consumption power is going to go all the way down to tier 3. And let me ask you, who's there in terms of a fulfillment logistics provider in tier 3, tier 4 apart from India Post? So we have to reposition ourselves. And that's what we're doing. So this team that has gone abroad and spent a lot of time abroad and come back with very valuable learnings, and the business process restructuring exercise that we're going through, we're going to convert a lot of our hubs, a lot of our delivery centers. We're going to convert a lot of manual into and physical into automated. We're going to bring in technology like RFID codes, laser technology, scanners. All of that is in the making. And we're putting together a proposal today as we speak to be able to effect that transformation over the next 4 to 5 years. If you want specific details, I'm more than happy to provide that to you separately. But that transformation is underway, and you will see a vignette of that with the new offering slide that I showed you over here, where on mail and on parcels, we're looking at new offerings. Those new offerings are only going to be possible if the underlying infrastructure and value chain is transformed. If you don't transform that, you can't give this offering. So what I presented you is the result. But there's a process behind that result, which is what the department is working at as we speak.
Just a couple more questions. Again, one on post office, which is respect to the post office savings bank. You mentioned the post office has very wide reach. Due to that reach itself, is there now an understanding within the department that is there a need felt for RBI oversight as far as the post office savings bank is concerned?
We are going to do business as usual. We today under POSB have 36 crore accounts. We have 21 lakh crores in terms of our deposits. And that business is going to continue. Having said that, on your last question of what is the value that we add to an Amazon or any other company, we are the logistics delivery platform. And we are not the logistics delivery platform for only an end-to-end provider like Amazon. But we hope to become the logistics delivery platform for also the mid-mile providers. Because there's only a certain section that the mid-mile providers can also effectively do. The last mile can only be done by us because we have the reach, right? And so there has to be a value proposition where the India Post also gets a margin on the transaction that it does. And that's the huge change that we have effected in the last year within the department. Every transaction should have a measurable cost. Every transaction should have a measurable margin to the department. If you want to transition from being a cost center, whose costs today are close to 38,000 crores, whose revenue today is 12,000 crores, and you have a big deficit to fill of 26,000 crores, and if without pensions, that deficit today is roughly about 9,000 crores, and you want to go from a cost center to becoming a profit center, then you have to be able to analyze your cost structure across every transaction, whether it's parcel, whether it is mail, whether it's passport, whether it is Aadhaar, whether it is mutual fund, and make sure that you get a margin whether you're doing a B2B transaction, whether you're doing a B2C transaction, and if I may add, whether you're doing a G2G transaction as well. So, if Postal Department is doing a transaction for any other arm for Government of India as well, there has to be a margin that is embedded into that for the Department of Post.
Just one final question, sir.
Okay, no, I can't ask
just
many.
22. One question per person because others have chance.
Yeah.
So, I'm Ashish from Business Standard. Another question on Department of Post. You said that
Thank you, Ashish. I'm enjoying this today.
You said that there will be 8 new products that will be launched, 5 in January and 3 in March. I just wanted to understand that have we decided on the nature of products that will be delivered, let's say by a 24-hour or a 48-hour parcel or the last mile delivery?
Speed Post, no?
No, so does Speed Post involve only documents, etc.
Yes,
those kinds?
yes.
Or are we also, because let's say if
No,
we
no,
go
so
to-
Speed Post has a very clear categorization of size and weight. It is within that. In your parcel category, each product has a categorization of up to this size, up to this weight. Dimensions are all there. So it will be very clear to the consumer as to where I fit in. Not only that, Ashish, but thank you for your question because I'm going to use it as a segue. Even our branding and packaging is changing. So when you go now, if I have, let's say, this glass that I want to send, there will be a certain size of packet that will be available to me in the post office. And I will just take my glass, pack it in the post office, seal it there with the stuff that's available there and deposit it. Or I'm also changing the system, and I'm maybe Harpreet and Vandana ji, I'm speaking a little too soon, but we are also going to take our post boxes and put a QR code on our post boxes. And I can go and deliver something inside my, so how many post boxes do we have across the country? 4 lakh post office, right? So I'll be able to use my IT 2.0 app done by CEPT, Atmanirbhar, okay? And go and zap a QR code and input into the software that I've deposited into the post box, this little glass in your post office package. and it will be all monitored, tagged, RFID coded, everything over there. Customer has a seamless experience. So we are going the whole hog. This is only the beginning of the journey. We hope to continually positively surprise you and our customers.
24, backside. 4.
Hi, sir. Ojasvi from Financial
Where-
Express. Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself again?
Ojasvi Gupta from Financial Express. So, like you mentioned, that 100% saturation is going to be one important component that the government is going to look after. So, I'm sure satellite connectivity is something that we look as a very crucial thing for that. But then, economic viability in the rural areas is going to be a problem. I mean, it's going to be like a point of contention. So, would the government be open to using the Bharat, the DLB funds for that, Bharat Nidhi Fund, Digital Bharat Nidhi Fund, for providing satellite connectivity in the rural areas as per the TRI's recommendation?
So I mean, I stand to be corrected, but the way I understand it, that erstwhile USOF and DBN is not for, it's not only that, but it's for capital expenditure. It is not for subsidizing a service. Am I correct? So you cannot, so if I am taking a service from Chandrasekhar Pemasani ji, and the cost of that service, that DBN cannot subsidize. DBN can only subsidize the tower that is being put up. So there has to be a capital structure that is being put up that DBN can subsidize. So you cannot subsidize the variable cost of a service.
Maybe the terminal setup then. I think that's what the TRI had recommended. Okay.
Last question is 243. 243. 249. 249.
Sir, my name is Rakesh Kumar from the Railway Express. Sir, BSNL latest time around added to customers in offers. So just want to know this momentum is going to continue in the next few months since 4G is already there, or any timeline that BSNL is going to launch? Any timeline the BSNL is going to launch 5G?
Okay, so you've got two questions embedded inside one question. One is